Kicking off officially a new month. I couldn't be more excited. This, I feel, is the heart piece of my work, what I am mostly excited about, how to find out your true self. Welcome to the podcast, Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Jeanine Hurd. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. Welcome back, money lovers, to another episode of your all-time favorite podcast. We are officially kicking off July of 2024, and I've decided the new topic of the month is all about finding out who or what your true self is based on astrology, based on human designs, other tools, things that helped me along the way. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that the topic of authenticity is one of my favorite ones. I deeply believe it is so freaking important, and we can't talk enough about this. One of the few books I've read over and over again is by Jorge Bucay, The 3 Questions. And this book is kind of about finding purpose in life. And the first question, he said, everyone should ask themselves is, who am I? The next question is, where am I going? And the third question is, with whom? So obviously the first question, who am I, is about who you are, your gifts, your talents, your purpose, what you desire to bring into this world, how you desire to be in service to humanity. And then the second part, where am I going, is, okay, now I know who I am, what I desire, what makes me happy, my gifts, my talents. Now it's really like, how do I desire to be in service? Do I desire to have my own business? Do I desire to work for someone? Like, this is the how, like your path, your life path. And the last question, once I know who I am, where I'm going, what I'm building, like where am I heading in life? Now, if that is something I desire, I can ask for a life partner, temporary life partner, whatever is important to you, it doesn't matter. But as humans, we've got this very messed up, especially for women. Because most women do it the opposite. Let me find a man, so I'm on his path. I do whatever is best for him, what he desires the most. And who I am doesn't really matter. And this is when we don't have answers to those questions. Things start to get messy in our life. Because all of a sudden, you don't know who you are, what you're bringing to the table. You can be in a business that is nurturing not your talents and your gifts, but the opposite, things that are becoming very difficult, very hard for you. And work always feels like a struggle. If you don't know what your path is, where you're heading in life, what you desire to build, you're on someone else's path, and there's nothing wrong with it, but very often we feel this frustration, like, this doesn't feel good, nah. Those kind of thoughts. And the worst part for me is, before you've answered those questions, who you are and where you're heading in life, you enter a relationship. Because in manifestation, input equals output. What you are bringing to the table, you have to get back. What you put in, you have to get back. So now you are a person that doesn't know their gifts and talents, and you don't know where you're heading to, what you desire to build in this lifetime. Oh, guess what? You are going to attract the same partner. Oh, how wonderful. Now we have 2 people that don't know who they are, what they're bringing to the table, their gifts. If I don't know what that is about me, I also can't communicate that in a relationship. Oh, it's a wonderful fight relationship. Because now we have 2 incomplete people together being on someone else's path being super frustrated. This relationship only can be one for the trash. Sorry, gotta say it so hard and clear. It is exactly how I mean it. And that's why in order for us to receive meaningful relationships that nurture us, we have to do the work first. And that is knowing who we are. Because think about it, how can I communicate to my partner what I desire, what I don't desire, who I am, what I like, what I don't like, if I don't know this? We see this over and over again, especially as women. We expect men to read our mind. But how can men read our mind if we can't even read our own freaking mind? And I deeply believe it is not the task of my partner to read my mind when I can't read my mind or articulate what I feel, how I desire this relationship to go if I can't do it on my own. I had a lot of toxic, no nice relationships in the past. And I clearly can see why, because I didn't answer the 3 questions. I just always wanted to be in a freaking relationship without answering question number 1, who am I? Because that meant in the beginning it was so freaking uncomfortable. Because who I am, what I'm bringing to the table, the topics that interest me, the path I desire to create for myself was not what everyone else expected from me or how they would see the good girl Jeanine. And that was very uncomfortable. However, people always ask me, like, how so fast? Like, how's it possible you received so much money so fast? This success, this continuous growth, like, I always see involvement from you. Like, how? That's why. Till today, and I can write probably 3 books about myself and who I am still working on that, because I literally feel every freaking month there are new pieces I am discovering about myself and who I am. I am still working on my path. I am continuously upgrading my path. Where am I going? And once I was on that path, the relationship I built with who I am and with who I want to be on that path became so crystal clear. But very often what happens when we're not honest to ourselves is also we desire to have a partner, but we are a lost or broken version, and we want kind of someone, this like prince that comes and fixes us. But energetically, you cannot be a match. Energetically, in this frequency, you only can be a match for someone that's also broken and desires to break you even more. And that's why this question of who you are, what your gifts, your talents are, finding all this out is a freaking foundation for your business, for authenticity, like the frequency of manifesting anything fast. It is a foundation for any relationship, a business, a love relationship with your children. Because the moment we know who we are, all of a sudden we also don't have to talk about boundaries and standards anymore. Because we know who we are. We can articulate. And the moment we can articulate, things start becoming very easy. Clear. The energy is clear. And this is something we all desire. And for a lot of people, they're always saying, oh, I'm looking for a higher meaning of my life, of my business. I'm a sole purpose entrepreneur. I don't know what all the labels are. And then they go all outside. Let me buy a strategy training about this. Like, let me do a workshop, find my why. I always say this over and over again. You do not find your why, you feel your why, and your why finds you. This is something I've heard from my teachers very early on. Life has no meaning. However, you give meaning to your life. And I think that is so beautiful because for me, it sums this all up. So many people out there looking for meaning, the why, and kind of hope someone gives them a prophecy and it's written in the stars and you receive a magic letter. No, you give meaning to your life. And I think this is actually the greatest form of freedom we can receive. However, people always say, like, I desire freedom, 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 financial freedom, freedom, freedom. However, you can't receive financial freedom even if you cannot handle the freedom life has given you. I'm repeating this. You can't receive financial freedom or even more freedom in different areas of life if you cannot handle the freedom life has already given you. Let that sink in. And that means you have to give meaning to your life. It's a beautiful form of freedom. You can choose whatever. So this whole month, we are talking about this, giving you tips, insights, the work I do on a weekly, monthly, daily basis around this, things that help me. We're also having a really cool program, She Knows Her True Self. If this is something you're interested in, you know, you always can use your monthly podcast credit for that to upgrade. I highly recommend this program to you. It's going to be a life changer. Of course, it is part of the Manifesting Big Money Fast, the university. And I am beyond excited to do this work with you. Because trust me, when you know who you are, everything falls in place. I've seen it for myself. I've seen it in so many clients, and things are falling into place so fast. You can't even imagine. But I'm giving you a heads up already. This is the work. This is a feeling path. This is not a doing path. Repeating this is a feeling path. And now hopefully you start to see how everything's connected. Because in order to feel, we have to have an open heart. In order to have an open heart, we had to overcome our wounds from the past. We have to do the work over and over and over again every single day to feel even more and more and more and more and more. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, all. The full spectrum. That is the key. I love you. You've got this. Your heart is open. Your heart is pure. Your heart is beautiful. And I talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. I've got 3 very important announcements for you. First, if you like what you're listening, make sure you leave some gratitude, leave a review, share the podcast. Second, if you love what you're listening to and you want more of that, there is a VIP version available. That means you will have access to 3 podcast episodes every single week. Simply check out the store, courses.richandhappiness.com, or the link in the show notes. And lastly, there are always monthly money activations happening around the new moon and full moon. If that is something you're interested, check out the store for the next money activation. I love you and I can't wait to see your beautiful face soon again.